Hello and welcome back to Road to 2200. Yay! This is episode 8, where I play rated games on the ladder and try to climb my chess rating on Rapid to 2200. Today we're going to be playing with a time control of 1510, and let's get right into the game. Alright, click play, and bang. Wrong button. Hi, this is what we got. So we got Little Boy 2000. As white, I always play d4. I want to learn some e4 openings. King xe4 has recommended that I learn the Scotch. Gonna play Queen's Gambit declined, or at least attempt to. He accepts. Now, I could immediately put 2 pawns in the center, but I like playing a little bit more reserved because there is a trap that could happen. So that's interesting. I don't think I've actually ever seen that before. I could reasonably just develop my knight. I can also recapture. He could take, and then I would take, and I would have an isolated queen's pawn, which isn't the greatest, but it mostly would be okay. I could also develop my knight out if I wanted to. I can also take, and then trade queens, and then, you know, he would probably defend. But already, very weird move. I can now give a check, if anything, but I think I will just recapture with my bishop. Weird. Yeah, and he takes, and he's going to leave me with an isolated queen's pawn. Now, I could take with my queen, but I don't really want to do that. So I'll take with my pawn, and I guess we'll try and figure it out. He develops his knight. I could develop my own knight. I could also push the pawn. I'm looking at this, but I know that this bishop pin is just going to immediately show up. So I might want to play a move like this. Actually, I think I will play this, and if he brings out the bishop, then I'm going to play queen to b3 and put pressure on his pawn and the knight. That is an idea. I might want to reinforce the pawn first, and he gives me a check. Okay, I could probably just block with my bishop. I'd be more than happy to trade with my bishop. I can also bring my knight out, but I'm honestly good with this right away. He's playing very quick. Gives me a check. Fair. I could bring my knight forward if I wanted to. And then castle. That would put pressure here, which I kind of would like. And then I'm threatening to retake. I could also drop my bishop back, but I kind of like where it's at. I think I will bring this forward. Now he could. Okay, so there are lines I'm looking at where he brings out his knight and tries to put more pressure here and on the pawn. But I think then I would just kind of take. Yeah, I think I will bring my knight forward and then try to castle. Already weird game. I honestly don't know what to say. Yeah, he castles, fair. I could just take, and then, well, then he would come with check. But there's also always this option. I think I will just castle now. Castle, and then I do have lines where I try to take the bishop, but I want to get out of the pin first, so my knight is actually flexible and can move. He takes. I could take with either piece. I kind of want to take with the queen and then bring out my knight here, just so I can, like, maybe I want to bring my queen over, but also, you know, maybe having threats here would be good. But I kind of also want to remain defending the pawn. He could bring his knight forward. I just don't think that is good. I would just immediately attack it. So I will recapture with the queen. I still like my position a lot. He can't really do anything like this, you know, because I do just have threats on the f-pawn, which I can always go for that trade. Something I'm looking at is rook to e1 and then trying to take. I would take with my knight and have that discovery. I think I will do this. Just bring my rook in front of the queen. He drops back, now putting pressure on the pawn. I can... Okay, so I have a few moves. I'm always looking at this. Always. and then trying to bring my queen in to the game. I can also just develop here, develop my knight, maybe try to bring it over this way. I can also bring out my own knight, or sorry, my own queen. But he's also playing incredibly fast. I do eventually want to try to trade off my own weakness. I can now it's kind of like I'm wishing I brought my queen out this way. You know? I can bring out my queen still. I can also bring up my rook, bring my rook up and over, or just develop my knight and maybe try to trade it off here. So I will do that. I'll just bring my last remaining minor piece into the game and just kind of be happy. He's going to kind of struggle to make moves. I imagine bishop is going to come out soon. Honestly, I might want to hold on to my bishop, but I think trading that and leaving him with an isolated pawn would be good for me. Especially because I might be able to immediately start putting some threats in places, bring up the rooks, you know. He brings out the knight. Okay. Now I could always just trade, or I can just not trade and try to bring out the queen and bring it over. I think I will do that. I will bring out the queen and then bring my rook over from my rook 81. Try to play that. Then bring my other rook over. And then I think we'll just honestly be very happy. Because if I take back with the pawn, his knight's going to have to move again. Takes. Now I can take back with the pawn. His knight might have to move. And then I might have some things. I could also take with a rook. I can definitely still take with the rook. But I would like to get my pawn, you know, useful. He could drop the knight back. He could bring it over this way. I do need to recapture. Always bring up my rook, you know, play like this. He doesn't have any checks that he can give. Frankly, this comes with tempo, and it kind of, yeah, he brings it forward. I mean, fine. Hitting my queen. I could go for this trade and then leave him with an isolated pawn and then actually slide my rook over and have more pressure here. I kind of like that. I might want to take... I'm trying to think of what piece I would want to take with. Because I could just get rid of my bishop and then just play a knight's game. Either bishop or the knight. I feel like with the presence of my bishop, it could be good to leave it on this diagonal. So I'm going to take with my knight. And once he takes back, I'm going to bring my rook over just with a quick little pin. He's probably going to, yeah, he's going to develop the bishop, kind of what I thought. And he still can't take the pawn, and I can add an attacker to it. I don't see how he defends. It might be best to go out this way, because if I come here, then maybe he can push. You know, it can be weird. I actually don't think pushing would work very good for him. I think I would probably take the bishop take and then take this pawn over here, but I could also drop back here and put more pressure onto the pawn, which he then would not be able to push. And I don't see how he would actually defend it. But I kind of like how active my queen is. I like this. But then he pushes. Take. Take. I can take. And I don't know if I like that position. He would have a weird pawn here. He would kind of be like this. He would slide his rook over probably. But then I could take another pawn. I actually think I will go for this. I'm expecting him to push. That's really his only move. Because he's going to lose the pawn. But I think going into an in-game wise, okay. He's attacking my pawn, and he also got out of the pin. I can now take. and then take again. I kind of don't like how he's hitting my rook. I can also drop back and still have pressure. Well, sorry, not hitting my rook. I don't like how he's hitting my pawn. So I can always drop back and then try to take. Or I could just take right away and go take. And then I have, you know, a pawn just kind of flying down the board. I can attack his queen. I can kick out his queen, try to win pawns, and just kind of put... okay. It's really whether or not I think I can still win this pawn after I defend my b pawn. You know, because he can bring his rook over, but I still do have 3 attackers. And I think I might be able to defend my pawn and then win this one here as well. I think I'm going to take. I do think this is more drawish. I can bring out my queen and then put pressure on this pawn. So if he takes, I'd probably take back with my queen. And then I actually have ideas to push this pawn forward if he were to capture. Pushing the pawn could actually be really good. He could also bring his rook and try to trade. But I would probably just drop back. So here, let's say he plays like this. I can't take. I don't have the luxury of taking. And it doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to defend my pawn either. So, would take him with... I mean, both seem fine. Yeah. If he wants to trade off a pair of rooks, that's honestly okay. And he takes. Okay, so now I want to push. And honestly, I think I'm actually very happy with pushing. I think he might have played that move a little bit too fast. Because, one, both my rooks are in the center. Take. I mean, he could slide over here, but I'm going to just start bringing pieces. Now, I could take with my rook and set up a discovery attack. Discovery check. I could also just take immediately and then bring my other rook over. But I think just setting up the discovery could be beneficial. Because he could just slide his king over. You know, I take and he slides his king over. But then I could put more pressure over here. I can also take with check. He would slide his king over anyway. And then I could bring my other rook over like this. And then maybe have some ideas. Lots to think about. Another thing that I could do. I do see now that this is very much a threat. I did not see that before. I don't think it's... I might have to play defense on that, actually. So I can take and then attack the queen. So I'll take with check. Kind of has to slide over. Because anything else can be bad. Yeah, he slides over. And then I can play like this and attack the queen while defending my pawn and my f-pawn. I also have the luxury of just kind of pushing this pawn one, but I don't really think I want to do that. I think I'm going to slide up. Maybe I can get a triple battery going. But I don't know if I really want to do that. I think I could just defend. And he doesn't have any access. He doesn't have any moves that he can make. And then I could bring my other rook over and start putting pressure on these pawns. Like here, he doesn't have any checkmates. He doesn't have any checks that he can give. He can sort of give this check, but I don't really think it's that great because I'm just going to kind of get in. I think I'm convincing myself to play this. He doesn't have any sacrifices. He can't bring in his other rook because I do have some checkmating attacks. So I will play f3. Just because I kind of want to keep my rooks together. I don't want to have them be any issues. I know his queen would have to move, but I think this is fine. And headed towards an endgame, I kind of want my pawns further down the board. Also, my opponent having 16 minutes on the clock is ridiculous. He's just playing so incredibly fast. I mean, I don't know why you boot up to a... I mean, he's playing well, though, so it's not really like I can blame him. Now I kind of want to bring my rook up. I can also attack the queen, but I think bring my rook up and trying to put pressure. I can also trade off my... Try to trade off the queens, but I don't think that works. So I can attack, and then maybe even double my rooks. I can also just bring my rook over and double it that way. I feel like that's also totally acceptable. So I'll bring my rook over, bring it up, and then maybe I want to double it like this. I feel like that would be very strong. Maybe I want to... So now he's trying to go for a queen trade. I actually think that this is very beneficial for me because I'm going to get 2 rooks on this file, and he's not going to have any attacks. And if he takes like this, like I think that's actually very good for me. I will take, and then I'll bring my other rook over. Yeah, 2 rooks on the rooks on 7th. There's a reason why it's a thing that you do. No, I actually have a funny thing. If I were to take this pawn, he takes back. I can just kind of give checkmate, which I love. He's not going to be able to trade rooks because I will just give a checkmate. But he's kind of cooked. I think that was a very bad decision by him because having both my rooks there is very strong, and I honestly should be pretty good here. Gotta always remember to hydrate. So yeah, he defends the pawn. I'm gonna just take here. I'm just going to take. He cannot take back. And then I kind of want to try to go after this pawn. But going up a pawn here is huge. Yeah, he slides over. Now I could just actually keep on kind of poking. Maybe I need to start bringing my king forward. Because he's kind of stuck where he's at. I can keep on attacking his rook, but I don't really think that's going to accomplish much. Maybe I want to try to remove his rook from the defense of that pawn. So I'm going to play h4. There are no checkmates, but if I can get here and kind of make him start questioning himself. Okay. If I were to go here, does he have any way of defending that I can go here? I think just dropping my rook back, putting pressure on the pawn, he has to defend like this. And I think that's actually very good for me. I can also continue pushing and try to kick him out like that. But I think just attacking the pawn is good. It gets his rook very passive. His rook is incredibly passive there. And then I'll have sliding my rook over this way, putting pressure here. And then I'll even have the opportunity to I guess kind of bring back, I don't know. Get this rook more active now. I kind of wish his pawn wasn't here. It's really annoying. So his king is still completely cut off, but I might be able to bring it over and play like this. I'm trying to think about the best way to do this. Maybe I want to slide over like this. So I think maybe just a slow move here. And try to win his pawn. Yeah, I'm going to slide it over and then bring it down. This rook is awful. This rook is not accomplishing anything. He might try to trade off the rooks, but I would then drop down and put pressure on this pawn, and he has no way of actually defending it. So he goes after my outside pawn, which I can now drop back and defend and maybe play like this. Because I kind of do want to hold on to that pawn, all things considered. But then again, take, or here he takes, then I take here. I do want to hold on to that pawn. Honestly, I think I need to hold on to that pawn. I need to start bringing my king forward because he doesn't really have any checks. I can now slide over and put pressure on the b pawn. That's also very true. He starts trying to bring his king. Fine. I'm going to put pressure on the B pawn. This king really can't come forward. Maybe he can defend like this, but then I might slide over and win this pawn effectively. And he doesn't have any way of saving this pawn. So I will be up 2 pawns, and I'll have a passed A pawn, which will just be flying down the board. But now I can take. I can also take with check. Which, now, that's the decision. Do I want to take like this, put pressure on the rook? The rook will have to move, or do I want to take with check? I think taking with check. Slides over. Now I can continue to put pressure onto the pawn. I can also start bringing my king up. So I will bring my king forward. Actually, I think I'm going to bring it back just so I have continued pressure on this pawn and his king can never come forward. I am going to start bringing my king over now. Maybe I want to start pushing this pawn. Yeah, he's still trying to bring his king. If he gets here, I'm going to slide over and now put pressure on his h-pawn. Okay. Bring my king out of the check. So when I win the h-pawn, okay? I'm going to bring my king here. All right. He can't come forward. He can't push the pawn. He really doesn't have any moves. He's running out of moves. His king can't come forward. This pawn can't come. Maybe he'll consider trying to trade off here. That is an idea. I will be up 2 pawns. Okay. That's an interesting idea. Now I could come here and win this pawn. I can also try to give a check. Winning this pawn would be very good, getting off 1 pair of rooks. I might have to part ways with my a pawn and kind of just send it down the board with my 3 passers. I don't believe any checks are really that good. I think just bringing up my rook, giving up the pawn, taking on the outside is good. He's going to start being able to push that pawn, but I think I will be able to get back and defend it in time while I push the pawns on the side of the board. So I'm going to play here. I imagine he's going to take. I will take. It will go capture, capture. Yeah, he takes. I will take. Trade. And now this pawn, now he's going to start trying to push the pawn. I want to get my rook immediately behind the pawn. Keep the king cut off. And just bring it down as quickly as I can. I'm going to start pushing my own pawn. I can always trade my pawns. That is like a thing I can do. I'm just going to continue pushing. He could push it one more time. He chooses not to. He makes a decision. No, I can slide over and defend. And he won't be able to capture. And then I'll be able to push it one more time. He can also give me a check. I'm going to have to drop back. Yeah, he continues to push, but now I can continue to push. But I'm going to promote. Yeah, so this doesn't work. He's going to be able to promote, but I'm also going to get a queen, and then I will just be winning. So GG's. Let's just make sure we don't, ruin our game real quick and just promote to a queen. I'm up a rook and 2 pawns. There's pretty much no way I can lose this, but there is still every way I can lose this. It's happened before. And he resigns. Bang. Ooh. I thought I played well this time. GG's. He was playing way too fast. I think he still had 16 minutes when the game ended, and you start with 15, so that's crazy. But I thought I played this game very well. Yes, and the computer agrees with me. Thank God. Here is the desktop. Ignore the drawing. Played at 89%. My opponent played at 84.4. I was never losing during this game, but I definitely did give away some of my advantage towards the middle, but ended up converting it nicely. So I'm very pleased with that. Let's continue through it. I was happy with the opening. Yeah, like, this was a weird opening, but we played it properly. So I guess developing the bishop isn't the most accurate, but it was fine. It's still an okay choice. Bringing the knight forward was the best idea. Happy about that. Castling. And then he takes. Taking with the queen wasn't right. I needed to take with the knight and then still have the access to going for these threats. I needed to put a lot of pressure on this pawn, and then, like, just easy development. My queen needed to stay on the light squares. Just kind of play like this. But I digress. We take. Yeah, bring out my rook, bring out the knight. Activate my queen a little bit more. He took the knight, which was a mistake. And I'm happy that I did correctly say that I need to take with the pawn, because I don't think taking with the queen or the rook really would have been that beneficial. Take. Yep. All good. And then I had the right idea to bring the rook over before, so because he can't capture. He develops the bishop. And then this was a mistake. Maybe I needed to play here? No, definitely not. I didn't know what I needed to do here. Honestly, it's probably just drop back my bishop to b3. It wanted bishop to bishop b3. Bishop b3, bishop d3. Just keep my bishop on the board. What I did, I kind of like, it was more tricks than it was really anything else. I like the pin, and I like that I was trying to win there. But queen to f3 is still a fine move. Then I take with the queen. He takes. Pushing the pawn apparently was an inaccuracy, but it seems fine. It wanted me, like, the only other moves are h3. Rook to b1, which rook to b1 makes sense. But I was fine with it. Taking with the queen was correct. He slides over. And then f3. I am very happy that it's giving me the best move for f3. Even though rook to e2 is also just the best. It's f3 or rook e2. Both worked. Both is what I looked at. Bring my rook over. Thought that was right. And then, yeah, I was right that's saying that this was a huge mistake. Because I take, and then my rooks are just so strong here. Win a pawn. He can't take. And then, hey, playing h4. Let's go. h6, I drop back, immediately putting pressure. His rook gets incredibly passive. That was slower. I didn't need to do that. It wanted me to immediately start bringing my king forward. Or play a4. Or rook to b5. Putting pressure on the pawn, putting pressure here, and then try to win it like this. Yeah, it's kind of like this doesn't really do anything because he's going to play this anyway. I dropped my rook back. I thought it was necessary to defend. Apparently here I had a tactic. I needed to go rook to c7 check. King to h8. All these moves are about the same. Let's see where they go here. And then what? Then I play rook to b5 and go after this pawn. And then maybe even try to deliver a ladder checkmate down the side of the board. Just saying that this rook is so bad that I am fast enough here. That's interesting. But I play rook to b2. I didn't really know what to do. That was a mistake. I needed to play rook to c2. Still try to get in with my rooks. He just gives me a pawn, which I saw him going, like, attempting to try to do this, but I can just take. And then I just go back. And then I start bringing my king. All good. Take. We're happy. Bring my rook back. And then I start pushing the pawn. And I was just good here. There was no way for him to stop. And if he were to promote, like, I would still have rook versus rook and two pawns. So regardless of what exchanges happened, I still would have been good. And here he just messed up. And I promote to a queen. This is completely winning. And we're back to 2024. Yay, time travel. If you liked the video, made it this far, please consider liking the video. I would love a few likes. Oh my god, dude, the love and appreciation, the dopamine I get whenever I see that little like button go up. And also make sure to subscribe. I'm going to be posting these a lot more regularly. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye. Check out my other stuff. I stream live on Twitch. Bye-bye.